as Muammar Gaddafi.
This mad dog of the Middle East has a goal of a world revolution. He's a madman.
Psychotic. To the point that the U.S. government considered him the most dangerous man in the world.
And how his delusions of grandeur ultimately lead to his downfall.
Muammar Gaddafi was a visionary, a showman, a tyrant, a man who ruled with an iron fist and golden revolvers, yet died in a gutter in his own hometown. He was feared, loved, loathed, but never ignored. Born around 1942 in a small rural area outside Sirte, he entered the world not in a city, not in a house, but in a tent. The son of a goat herder from the Kadadva tribe, a marginalized clan on the fringes of Libyan society, Gaddafi grew up in a Libya that was a patchwork of tribes under Italian colonial rule, struggling for freedom. Oil had yet to be discovered, and poverty was rampant. He attended a traditional Islamic school in Sirte, where he was bullied for his humble roots, yet he persevered. In secondary school in Sabha, he discovered the power of ideas, Arab nationalism, and pan-Arabism, inspired by the charismatic voice of Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser, whose vision ignited a fire in young Gaddafi that would shape Libya and the Arab world. Driven by these ideals, he rose quickly through Libya's military academy. By the age of 27 in 1969, he orchestrated a carefully planned, bloodless coup that toppled King Idris, Libya's first monarch, ending the monarchy and establishing the Libyan Arab Republic. Libya, newly rich from oil, became a focal point of global attention. Initially seen as a puppet of Western powers, Gaddafi promised a new Libya, free, united, and strong. His Green Book outlined his political philosophy, a mix of Islamic socialism and personal ideology meant to guide the nation. In the early years, Libya flourished. Oil was nationalized, healthcare and education became free, and housing subsidies lifted many from poverty. Literacy rates doubled, life expectancy rose, and for a time, Gaddafi appeared a revolutionary who cared for his people.
State. He was the state itself. Every major decision, big or small, went through him. He announced a new system called the Jamahiriya, which he said would give power to the people. He claimed that Libyans would rule themselves through local committees.
Yet, for all the reforms, his personal life became one of excess and eccentricity. Gold-plated weapons, lavish feasts, and female bodyguards clad in military uniforms became symbols of his power. He kept cheetahs and camels at his palaces, projecting an image of flamboyant authority. His dreams of uniting Arab nations faltered as Egypt made peace with Israel in 1979, and his campaigns abroad, particularly in Chad, ended in humiliating defeat during what became known as the Toyota War. Chadian forces, highly mobile in pickups armed with machine guns, decimated Libya's heavy tanks and armored vehicles, marking Gaddafi as a leader whose ambitions sometimes outpaced his capabilities.
Reforms and modernization policies, Nasser is widely considered the leader of the Arab world.
At home, dissent grew as oil revenues declined. Gaddafi responded with brutal repression, political prisoners detained without trial, secret police monitoring citizens, and loyal militias eradicating opposition. Mass executions and assassinations became routine. Darker allegations emerged, including abuse and the exploitation of women. Internationally, he gained notoriety for supporting terrorism. His name was linked to the 1988 Lockerbie bombing, which killed 270 innocent people, earning him the label Mad Dog of the Middle East by U.S. President Ronald Reagan. By the 1990s, Gaddafi faced enemies from all sides. Islamist factions that he once supported turned against him, viewing him as a corrupt secular tyrant, a betrayer of Islamic principles. He was isolated internationally and increasingly reliant on a cult of personality to maintain control domestically. Following the September 11th attacks in 2001, Gaddafi saw an opportunity in pragmatism. He offered intelligence cooperation and in 2003 dismantled Libya's nuclear and chemical programs, stunning the West. Sanctions were lifted, and leaders such as British Prime Minister Tony Blair pursued deals in the desert, securing Western oil interests. By 2009, Gaddafi was addressing the United Nations, portraying himself as a statesman and global player. Yet, inside Libya, repression, poverty, and fear persisted.
By 2010, frustration was quietly spreading. The unemployment rate among youth was one of the highest in the region. Many young people dreamed of leaving the country, seeing no hope for change.
Ordinary citizens saw little change, and skepticism about his rule grew. Then came the Arab Spring. In December 2010, a Tunisian street vendors' act of self-immolation ignited protests across the Arab world, reaching Libya by February 2011. It began as peaceful demonstrations escalated into an armed uprising. The demand was clear: Gaddafi must go. Government forces responded with brutal violence, but rebels organized under the National Transitional Council in Benghazi. Gaddafi dismissed the protests as the work of rats and cockroaches, yet words quickly became fire.
The idea that people could actually stand up to a ruler and win suddenly felt real. The spark came on February 15, 2011 in Benghazi, a city known for its strong sense of community and history.
Warplanes and helicopters bombed rebel-held cities, while ground forces pushed east and west, attempting to crush the revolt before it gained momentum. The world watched in horror as Libya descended into chaos. The United Nations passed a resolution imposing sanctions and declaring a no-fly zone to protect civilians. On March 19, 2011, Operation Odyssey Dawn began, marking the start of a U.S.-led military intervention. Hundreds of targets were struck within hours, and control of air operations soon passed to NATO. Officially, the strikes were to protect civilians, but in reality, NATO targeted Gaddafi's command centers, convoys, and supply lines. As Tunisia and Egypt had already toppled their dictators, Libya's uprising gained momentum, with rebels emboldened by Western air support.
Now sounded desperate. He accused NATO of trying to destroy Libya and warned his followers that
By summer, Gaddafi's military was shattered. NATO airstrikes decimated tanks, artillery, and armored vehicles, while rebel forces advanced into Tripoli in August. The capital fell within days. Gaddafi fled east to his hometown of Sirte, transforming what was once a symbol of his power into the stage for his final stand. For weeks, rebel forces laid siege to the city, while NATO jets circled above, striking resistance points. On October 20, 2011, Gaddafi's convoy attempted to break out, but was struck by NATO air support. Surviving the initial attacks, he was later dragged from a drainage pipe by rebels. Bloodied and beaten, his life ended in violence, the exact circumstances debated. Some say he was shot in crossfire, others claim execution.
his once loyal generals started fleeing. Ambassadors resigned, and government officials escaped to neighboring countries. Even in Tripoli, his own capital, people began to lose faith.
The reign of Muammar Gaddafi ended not with a speech, but with a cell phone video captured by those who witnessed it. His death did not bring stability. NATO's intervention scattered weapons across the desert, which soon found new owners among tribes, militias, and warlords. By 2012, hundreds of armed factions controlled towns and oil fields. By 2014, Libya was effectively split, the east under Benghazi-based authorities and the west under Tripoli-based factions. Years later, the country remains divided, and the chaos that followed Gaddafi's fall continues to shape Libya's present. Muammar Gaddafi's story is one of contradictions. From a desert nomad to an authoritarian ruler, he transformed Libya through oil wealth, social reforms, and an ambitious ideology. Yet his rule was also marked by repression, excess, and international condemnation. He sought pan-Arab and pan-African unity, but his foreign adventures often failed, undermining his vision and credibility. His lavish lifestyle, theatrical behavior, and eccentric personality created a cult of personality that masked the vulnerabilities of his regime. internationally.
Europe, who are said to have training facilities here in Libya. Is that true or is that not?
It is not true at all.
No European groups, for instance, are...
Gaddafi oscillated between a sponsor of terrorism and a pragmatic partner to the West, demonstrating a capacity for both recklessness and diplomacy. His decisions shaped Libya's trajectory and made him a central figure in global geopolitics, a dictator whose choices had far-reaching consequences. His death unleashed chaos that continues to plague Libya, illustrating how a nation built around a single ruler's vision can crumble without strong institutions or a system of governance capable of surviving the fall of its leader.
Gaddafi was going down with a ship. He had no intention of abandoning Libya. He had no intention of relinquishing power. When the rebels take Tripoli, Gaddafi goes on the run, and he eventually finds himself.
Gaddafi's life and death remain a cautionary tale of power, ambition, and the fragility of states dominated by one individual. The man who rose from a humble nomad in the desert became one of the most infamous figures of the 20th and 21st centuries, leaving a legacy that outlived him. Libya, rich in resources yet fragmented and violent, continues to bear the consequences of his rule, reminding the world of the cost of absolute authority, unchecked ambition, and the perils of charismatic, authoritarian leadership. Even today, Gaddafi's story resonates far beyond Libya's borders, serving as a testament to how one man's vision, whether revolutionary or despotic, can shape the destiny of an entire nation and leave a lasting mark on history.